Yes, sorry. Apologies. Yes. Yes, I'll welcome you all. Welcome you all to His Holiness Chandrali Maharaj's daily call. So today we'll be talking about book distribution. What is the importance of book distribution? Why do we do it? How do we do it? And what does it gives us basically? What do we learn from it? So there are different perspective, and I'm definitely not a book distributor or qualified person to talk about this topic basically because I don't distribute as many books as I should, and we should maybe. But he's always Shashika Prabhu. He's very, very good from Silicon Valley. If you want to hear his classes, it's on available on YouTube. Please try and listen to him, and he gives very good tips on how to distribute the books. But today, what we will be covering is first of all, hearing from the Lord Himself, hearing from Lord's devotees that why and what is the prediction was for Srila Prabhupada to standing up this movement, and why do we do this? What are the learnings from her and us, and how do we go out? So first of all, I'll share my screen and show you a few verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, which are very good, Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita as well, to learn. Let me just close this to learn what has been said by the Lord about the book distribution. So as we all know that this few verses are very, very important. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Himself, He says that for one who explains this supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end he will come back to me. So Lord Himself is saying that whoever explains and goes out and gives this supreme secret to the devotees. So this Bhagavad Gita is basically, so we are talking about the different scriptures, and different scriptures such as the one which is come from Katha, which has come from his hymns, Lord's lotus mouth, and the Katha which has come from the Lord's devotees' mouth for the actions and activities of the Lord. So these are Bhagavad Gita is basically the instructions of the Lord to the humanity. Srimad Bhagavatam is the pastimes of the Lord given by Srila Vyasadeva. And there are many other scriptures which is written by Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Jiva Goswami, six Goswamis of Vrindavan, and then further translated by our dear Srila Prabhupada in English. So all these scriptures, this parampara of distributing the knowledge, spreading this knowledge has been coming from long time. And this was, 5,000 years back, this was, instructed by Lord Himself for His followers to distribute this knowledge, spread this word. And then again, what we want to hear is who are the topmost devotees of the Lord. The topmost devotees of the Lord is the gopis of Vrindavan. So the Lord Himself, Himself says that uh, they have got they've got the purest love for me. And in their gopi gate, when Krishna leaves them, when they are trying to, they're trying to look for Krishna everywhere, like us, like we are lost in this material world and we are looking for Krishna everywhere. But they were not lost in the material world, they were lost in the spiritual world, in the separation of the Lord. And in that separation of the Lord, what they were doing is they were acting the pastimes of the Lord. They were, and they were acting the pastime of Kaliya Dahan and Agasura Dahan and Putana Dahan. All these pastimes they were enacting between themselves. And when they were doing it, they were feeling that Krishna was already with them when they were talking about the activities of the Lord. And in that, they narrate this particular verse, which is given in Gopi Geet. Tava krithamritam tapta jivanam kavi bhiriditam kalmashapaham Shravana mangalam shrimad tatam bhuvi grananti ye bhurida jana. Sorry, my voice is not so good. The nectar of your words and the descriptions of your activities are the life of soul of those sufferings in this material world. These narrations, transmitted by learned sages, eradicate one's sinful reactions and bestow good fortune upon whoever hears them. These narrations are broadcast all over the world and are filled with spiritual power. Certainly, those who spread the message of Godhead are most munificent. So Srila Prabhupada gives really nice, and it's purport. It says that King Prataparudra recited this verse to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu during Lord Jagannath's Rath Yatra festival. While the Lord was resting in a garden, King Prataparudra humbly entered and began massaging his legs and lotus feet. Then the king recited the 31st chapter of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the songs of the gopis. The Chaitanya Charitamrita relates that when Lord Chaitanya heard this verse beginning Tava Krithamratam, he immediately arose in static love and embraced King Pratapadra. The incident is described in detail in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 14:4 to 18, and this edition Srila Prabhupada has given extensive commentary on it. So in this verse particular, what are the gopis are saying that your words and your description of your activities. So what are the words? Krishna's words are in Bhagavad Gita. And where the Krishna's description of the activities are in Srimad Bhagavatam are the life and soul of those suffering in this material world. So who are suffering this? Everyone actually, whoever has taken birth in this material world, we are all suffering. We all think that we are happy, but we are all suffering. And this narration is transmitted by learned sages. So who has transmitted this knowledge for all of us? We could never understand Sanskrit or any languages like Bengali. The Chaitanya Charitamrita has been translated, Bhagavatam has been translated, Bhagavad Gita has been translated by the learned sages, Srila Prabhupada and previous acharyas. Eradicate one sinful reactions and bestow good fortune. So what it does? What it does two things. It takes away our all sinful reactions, what we're going to suffer in this world, why we have taken birth, and it gives us good fortune. So hearing is also important, but then what is saying? These narrations are broadcast all over the world and filled with spiritual power. So this spiritual power is very important, and we have to remember that Srila Prabhupada has brought this knowledge to the Western world, and most of the devotees are here, few are from India, and few all are here, sitting in different places of this world. And it's our responsibility as being, following this path and progressing on this path of a spiritual journey. It's our responsibility to spread this, because only few hands can do only limit. But if we have hundreds and thousands of hands, then we can definitely broadcast this message. And that certainly those who spread the message of Godhead are most munificent. So what gopis are saying, gopis are glorifying the devotees who has spread the glories of the Lord all over the world. So it's very important for us to understand that this knowledge has to be spread. It's not something which has to be kept with us and just learn and make ourselves progress. So there are two types of devotees. There are Bhajanandis and there are Goshtanandis. And I think I previously explained that Bhajanandis are the one who are just chanting and sitting at home, and they're focusing on their own chanting, their own sadhana, and the improvement of their own bhakti. But the Goshtanandis are one, those who go out door to door, everywhere, and they spread the message of the Lord. So they don't keep this jam with only with us. They spread it. This bhakti has to be spread. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has actually once, and I'm not sure if you have heard of this, that in Madhurya Kadamani, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has said something very important. And it was said, it was asked that how does one start the pious active? How does one start the spiritual journey? Does he start from the pious activity? If someone has opened so many anathalaya, ashrams, if someone has given so much donation in the form of the Lakshmi, if someone has served someone physically, would he start his spiritual journey based on the pious activity? So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, no, pious activity is not the beginning of it doesn't start, it's not a trigger for the spiritual bhakti, it's trigger for this bhakti. And then it was asked that, then does it happen by Krishna's mercy? When Krishna gives his mercy, does the journey starts at that time? Then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that no, Krishna has said that he himself, we all know the verse that Krishna says that I envy no one, and I'm not I'm not giving a favor to someone. Everyone is equal to me. Krishna is saying, but those who are my devotees, I bestow special mercy upon them. So why, if this bhakti is starting from Krishna, then how come Krishna can be partial? So Krishna himself says that he is not partial. And then how does the bhakti begin? Then bhakti begins by the mercy of the Vaishnavas. So bhakti begins from the bhakti. The one who has the bhakti can give others the bhakti. So one who has the devotees, who has taken Krishna's name, who is chanting, uh, has the responsibility to spread this bhakti to others and pass this knowledge to others. So this is very important, and we should take this authority of the gopis of giving this instruction basically in indirect way, and saying that how important is the Lord's words and Lord's actions are, and what it does to us. Then we will move on to understand that what does Gita Mahatmya by Adi Shankaracharya has said about Bhagavad Gita. The what happens, because it's very important for us to understand that what these scriptures are. Once we understand the importance and glories of these scriptures, then only we will have the courage to go out and face the world and distribute these important books to others. So what does Gita Mahatmya says? One who with regulated mind recites with devotion this Bhagavad Gita scripture, which is the bestower of all virtue, will attain to a holy abode such as Vaikuntha, the residence of Lord Vishnu, which is always free from the mundane qualities based on fear and lamentation. If one reads Bhagavad Gita very sincerely and with all seriousness, then by the grace of the Lord and the reactions of the past misdeeds will not act upon him. So again, this is again repeating the same, that the reactions of the past misdeeds will not act upon us when we read Bhagavad Gita with sincerity and all seriousness. So this is again very important to understand that when we how important is the reading of the scripture is. Like Srila Prabhupada have always said that study my scriptures, you don't just read them, you study them. And then when we study them, when we then we understand the actual meaning, and then it will make an impact on our mind, that how important it is for us to distribute it. So once, when in Bhagavad Gita also, when Krishna says that, when Arjuna is asking so many questions that, what will happen, why he had so much compassion, and, was feeling guilty that I don't want to kill all my king's men. And then Krishna says that they are already dead. They're already dead. You just become a nimitta matra. You just become the instrument in the hand. So it's very important to understand that we just have to become the instrument. The actions are already performed. The actions are performed by the Lord. And it's very, yeah. So we just need to become the instrument in the Lord's hands in distributing this knowledge. And then we want to move on to hearing about, let me just, what was the verse? Yes, so this is again very important verse, which explains and kind of predict that how Lord's name and the glories will go around the world. So if we are here from this verse specifically, it says, on the other hand, that literature which is full of descriptions of the transcendental glories of the name, fame, forms, and pastimes, etc., of the unlimited Supreme Lord is a different creation full of transcendental words directed towards beginning about a revolution in the impious lives of this world's misdirected civilization. Such transcendental literature, even though imperfectly composed, are heard, sung, and accepted by purified men who are thoroughly honest. So this is again, kind of a prediction that it needs to it should go out, it should be distributed. And what does this knowledge contains? The transcendental glories of the name, fame, forms, and pastimes of the Lord. And I think in this verse only, it says that, yeah, in here, it is the duty of every responsible Indian to broadcast the transcendental message of Srimad Bhagavatam throughout the world, to do all the supermost good as well as to bring about the desired peace in the world. Because India has failed in her duty by neglecting this responsible work, there is so much quarrel and trouble all over the world. So Srila Prabhupada is actually saying that, whoever have, it's not only about, Srila Prabhupada in this particular but highlighting about the Indians, but this is for all of them who are following Srila Prabhupada's instruction. This is for all of us. If we neglect this particular service, then we will be the reason for all these quarrels and trouble all over the world. So Srila Prabhupada indirectly saying that, how important this service is to distribute this knowledge, because what this knowledge would do, this will purify the world. This will bring us to a different level. This will deduct our, cut off our all sinful reactions, and it will connect us to the Lord. So these are few verses which are very important to understand the prediction of the Lord. and uh, and how important it is. Then there is one more verse from Srimad Bhagavatam Madhya Leela, which was really nice to understand this. It says, काहे नाचे काहे गाए श्री कृष्णा गोपाला प्रमते बसीला लोका श्री वृद्धा बाला. So he's saying that आप नाचो गाओ श्री कृष्ण गोपाला. You just say that Shraddha, Stri, Vridha and Abala, everyone, including children, old men and women, begin to dance and to chant the holy names of Shri Krishna and Gopala. In this way, they all floated in the ocean of love of Godhead. So this is the time when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was going on the South India trip, and this is what happened, that everyone danced and chant on the names of the Lord, and everyone was floating in the love. And then what Nityananda Prabhu says on this, देखी नित्यानंद प्रभु कहे भक्त गाने ए रूपे nitya आगे हबे ग्रामे ग्रामे. So Nityananda Prabhu is saying, upon seeing the chanting and dancing of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Nityananda predicted that later there would be dancing and chanting in every village. So let's read this purport. This prediction of Sri Nityananda Prabhu's is applicable not only in India but also all over the world. That is now happening by his grace. The members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness are now traveling from one village to another in the Western countries and are even carrying the deities with them. These devotees distribute various literatures all over the world. We hope that these devotees who are preaching the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will very seriously follow strictly in his footsteps. If they follow the rules and regulations and chant 16 rounds daily, their endeavor to preach the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will certainly be successful. So Srila Prabhupada has given the instruction and prediction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, who is Balram himself, that this message will go in every village and town. Everyone will be dancing and chanting. So in this, what Srila Prabhupada is saying is, one thing is very important: if they follow the rules and regulations and chant 16 rounds daily, their endeavor to preach the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will certainly be successful. So don't think that book distribution service is just a service to go out and give out some books. This only happens by the mercy and the empowerment of Srila Prabhupada and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When we are strong in our bhakti and when we are committed, then basically you get the blessings of Srila Prabhupada. So Srila Prabhupada is saying that it doesn't happen that you don't have any sadhana, you're not chanting your rounds. Even if you're doing 4 rounds, if you're doing your 10 rounds, you do it sincerely. Here Srila Prabhupada is doing saying about 16 rounds. But if you're not at the level of 16 rounds and you have committed yourself to do just 10 rounds every day, and you have a desire to do 16 rounds, then that is also accepted. If you're only doing 4 rounds and you've committed yourself to 4 rounds, but you have desire to reach to 8 rounds and then 16 rounds, then that is also accepted. But you have to have a commitment, a sincerity to the process, and you have to have complete faith on this process, that yes, this will take me where I want to go, to the lotus feet of the Lord. And if you follow the rules and regulations and then we endeavor to preach, then our endeavors will be successful. So this is again very important. And in this but specifically, I remember someone asked Srila Prabhupada that there are so many organizations, so many movements are there already at the time when Srila Prabhupada was establishing ISKCON. And question was asked that why you're standing up one more organization? Why is it important? So Srila Prabhupada said that I'm creating the head of the society. There are no Brahmins in the society, so I'm creating the Brahmins. So what did Srila Prabhupada did? Srila Prabhupada gave us all this knowledge in the books. He translated for them who could not understand Sanskrit, Bengali. He translated all this knowledge. Now this knowledge has been translated about 70 languages. And 70 different languages, like it's been now be translated in Urdu, in Chinese. So all this arrangement was done so that Prabhupada could create Brahmins in this society, because any society or even the body itself can't work, can't function properly without the head. So ISKCON is Krishna International Society for Krishna Consciousness is head of the society. It's creating the Brahmins, and as we all know, the Srila Prabhupada had turned all the hippies to happies. Srila Prabhupada's disciples from all over the world spreading the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and going every village and city. And Srila Prabhupada is saying that they are carrying the deities with them. They're taking all the various literatures, distributing all over the world. So it is very important for all of us to, to follow in the footsteps of Srila Prabhupada as being our acharya and our spiritual master, who has given this knowledge to us. And there is one more, when, in and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he wrote this 8 verses of Shishtastakam, he says the Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. So it means that, this book distribution, this Sankirtam, this Harinam will go on and on and on. It will always be Vijay, there will always be success. So as we can see, even, in London as well, we have noticed that even at the time of COVID, devotees have tried so hard, and the book distribution have always increased. Whatever calamities has come in the world and the issues we are facing, the quarrels and the wars we are facing, however, the books distribution have increased over the time. So the param vijayata, it will always have vijay, it will always have success. So we should never be disheartened by any shortcomings of us, that how we will do it, how we can do it. We should keep ourselves aside. We should just stay out of it. As he said that, when we go out for the book distribution, we should let the books work. Let the words of the acharyas, let the work, because when you are out on the street, what happens that you're not standing alone. You have the complete disciplic succession, and you have Srila Prabhupada standing right next to you when you're distributing books. So we should always have faith. Many times our language is a barrier, or maybe the words are barrier. We don't have the words to describe. Maybe we don't have the knowledge which has been given in the books. Maybe we have not read and understood the books. Maybe we have read it, not understood the book. Maybe we have understood, but we have not applied it in our life. We don't know the complete end to end of the knowledge what has been given in the book. But what we know, that we have faith in this process. We have faith in the books. Srila Prabhupada used to say that even if someone touches the Bhagavad Gita, the spiritual journey will start. Even if someone not even reading, even if someone touches someone just look at the words written in the, not even reading, someone just look at the words in the book, and then their spiritual journey will start. Forget about reading and looking at the words. Even if someone, look at the spaces in between the words, their spiritual journey will start. So we should always understand that how important the Bhagavad Gita is. This is the only book on the Mother Earth planet which has come from the Lord's lotus mouth. So we should not take this book for granted. I know it's been we distribute in ISKCON, we have it so easily available. The knowledge has been already there on internet, is online. Vedabase is there in the books form. We have at home, many in the temple, everywhere. We go to the friend's house, everywhere we have given Bhagavad Gita. But we should understand how important this book is, just by touching of this book. And we have noticed that, when you're in and out and about distributing books, you will see that the books will talk. Books will do the magic. Just books itself will pull the people towards you. So it has so much potency of it to understand. When you have that faith that the Lord himself is blessing you, the Srila Prabhupada is blessing you, now all the disciplic succession is with you, then you will not think, because they all are above our shortcomings. We are nothing, and Srila Prabhupada, you're best of nothing. Like, we are nothing. We don't have anything, any qualification to do such a big job. It's a very big service, actually. When you carry the books, you're carrying such a important transcendental knowledge with you. So we don't have the abilities, but we should think the glories of our acharyas, and we should understand the blessing of and mercy of the Lord himself, that he can do anything and everything. So that is very important. And so I wanted to also highlight that who was the first book distribution party. And I wanted, because when I was preparing for this class and I was hearing a number of classes I've heard from different devotees all over the world, and one thing which I came to know about this distribution party, which I never knew actually prepared until I prepared for this class. And so there was first book distribution party was started by Jiva Goswami, and there were three devotees were there in his party, who was Narottam Das Thakur, Shyam Nanda Pandit, and Srinivas Acharya. And they would go out and distribute books every day. And how they used to, so they were living in Vrindavan basically, but Jiva Goswami instructed them to go to Odisha and West Bengal to distribute the books, and how they were distributing it. So they were, when they were starting the journey, they had the original manuscript or from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and Gopal Champu, books like that. And they had the original manuscript written on the leaves on the in the previous style, how they used to write this knowledge. And this manuscript, is said that they stayed somewhere overnight and this knowledge was stolen. They did not had this original manuscript was completely stolen on the journey to Odisha and Bengal. And who has stolen this? So the king of that place, who was Krishna Bhakta, but he was also a thief. So he actually stole these manuscripts. But later on, they came to know, and that they restored the manuscripts and they received it back. And then what they were doing it, this is really astonishing to hear that they were writing these manuscripts. They're making the copy of it by writing it one line by line, word by word, and then they were distributing this knowledge. So they were not photocopier or any technology was not available at that time. So they were writing the books to distribute it, and the process was very slow. And it said that and it's also said that Narottam Das Thakur used to send the scores of the books as a scorecard to Jiva Goswami, that how many books the three of them had distributed. So I managed to find this particular letter from Narottam Das Thakur, and I thought it'd be nice for all of us to read. So as you can see, this is on a book distribution website by SCON, so it has been authorized. And as you can see, written on palm leaves, a letter from Narottam Das Thakur to Srila Jiva Goswami contains the annual book distribution scores for the year ending on Guru Purnima of Saksha 1501. Imagine how many years this back is. 1501 AD 1579. So Srinivas Acharya has distributed this many books, and imagine writing these books line by line with your hands and distributing it. 23 books of Janananda's songs, Bhagavatam with Vaishnav Toshani, 6 books, and then Narottam Das Thakur's books. How many books he has given, distributed? Shyamananda Pandit, how many books he has distributed? So this letter has been sent by Narottam Das Thakur to Jiva Goswami, concluding what? Hear this. Narottam Das Thakur concludes his letter with the following emotional comment. Until we are able to develop another type of technology to print the books, due to the difficulty involved in creating books by hand, which is being neglected, most of our book distribution program will be postponed. So they had to postpone this program. We are sure that one day some magnanimous person will come and will develop the movement of static love of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, distributing books all over the world. Until then, what will we person who are poor, barefoot and abominable do? What is the benefit of discussing the stories of Lord incarnations, worshipping the Lord's deities, giving musical recitations of the Lord's pastimes, chanting the Lord's holy names on beats, etc., when we have such small scores? So this is again very important for us to understand that what Narottam Das Thakur is saying. Okay, let's read this last piece as well. This piece came from Leela Lakshmi Dasi, who has distributed books for 30 years. The last 8 of them in the Shri Krishna Balram Mandir in Vrindavan. She received this scores from Radha Kunda Dasi, who is the wife of Yashomati Nandan Prabhu, both disciples of Srila Prabhupada, who daily distributes up to 400 books in the Holy Dham. So this knowledge is coming from the authentic sources. Thus, this letter was sent from Narottam Das Thakur to Jiva Goswami. And what is saying that what is the benefit of discussing all this when we have such a small score? So he's saying that we need to distribute, we need to, we can discuss all these pastimes, stories, we can worship the deities, we can do everything, but we need to distribute the books. So this this is again and how this will happen. At the time they had to write the books, and this is why they couldn't distribute with as much, quantity as we can do now. So he's very humbly saying that we have to postpone this program until we get the technology to print the books. So now what we have now till now we have discussed that why we should do this service is very important, why we should do this service. Now we will hear about what it teaches us, what this service teaches us, which is, in my experience, none of the service has taught me what book distribution has taught me. So first of all, book distribution teaches you how to be surrendered. Yeah, this is one quality as Krishna has asked in Bhagavad Gita, that if you surrender unto me, I will look after you. So this book distribution teaches you how to surrender. When you literally, you don't have the words, you don't have the knowledge, and you don't know if your sadhana is strong enough to be able to distribute the words. And at that time you realize that you don't know anything and you can't do anything. And at that time you keep your hands up and you say, I'm in your hands. Yeah. And when you're standing in front of strangers, when you're standing outside, people ask, you don't know what to do. And at that time the words comes in your mouth automatically, and then you know that Lord is speaking. Because sometimes we have to keep ourselves aside to have the Lord's mercy, to be able to understand that Lord is talking, because Lord talks very softly. Yeah, his voice is very soft, but our mind is very very loud, our mind is all over the place. And this is why, to be able to hear, and I was hearing this from Keshav Maharaj, one of the class, that how do we know that Krishna speaks to me? So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, when you control your mind, then you will hear my voice. Then super soul is already reached, Krishna says, when you control your mind. So super soul is already reached. What does it mean by super soul is already reached? It means that you can hear the voice of Krishna. And that's what happens when you go out, and when you have few books in your hand and a desire to serve the Lord, desire to serve Srila Prabhupada, and at that time you feel nothing. You feel that I am no one and I don't know anything. And at that time, you beg for the mercy to the Lord and Srila Prabhupada. And at that time, the surrender, the nature, that quality comes in your hand. You realize that how small person you are. And at that time, you surrender. So book distribution teaches you to surrender. Book distribution also teaches you tolerance. When you go out, you know, no one knows you. No one knows that you're Krishna's devotee and what you're trying to do, what you're trying to give, and why you're standing here, why you're knocking on the someone's door, why you're reaching the shops. Wherever you're going, people don't know what you're trying to do, and they can behave as they want with you. Yeah, so it's not always. Usually, people are nice in the world. They're not as bad, but not as bad. They're good actually. The people are nice always. I've noticed that people are nice unless you're trying to do something, you're trying to harm them. Otherwise, people are nice in the world. Uh, so so sometime if any incidents occurs, so how do you face that, being, because we have to always remember that when we are out and about, we are representing Srila Prabhupada, we are representing ISKCON, we are representing the disciplic succession, we are representing Lord Shri Krishna, we are representing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we are representing Srimati Radharani. So we are not just ourselves, we are representing the whole of our spiritual world. Yeah, we are representing Golok Vrindavan. So you have to be best of yourself. You can't be just, screaming, shouting, and telling people off for not taking the books. You have to just smile, you have to calm, you have to be collected. Your words has to be controlled. What you're saying, you have to mindful of your words. So I'm not trying to say all these words because to scare you off, but I'm trying to tell you that is very important how we present ourselves by the words, by body, by mind, and by our thoughts in front of the public. Because if someone gets angry at you, you don't get back. Yeah, I was just, day before, I think 2 3 days back, I was distributing books with our head priest, and she's very old lady, 74-year-old, and she limps, like, it's not always good to walk always. It's where London is very very cold. In the evening at about 7 o'clock, she knocked, and we were alternative doors, we were knocking on the doors. We usually do two ladies together, but she went alone and I went alone because we wanted to cover off that particular road, and we were running out of time. So we did it alternate doors. And imagine she's serving Srila Prabhupada's mission from last 35 years. And she knocked at the door, and there was a big van was standing there. And this husband and wife comes out of the door and comes out screaming like anything. They thought that this Mataji was trying to get something out from the van, and they were scolding her, shouting at her. And I was literally on the next door, at the next door, and I came running, hearing these noises. But Mataji was so calm. She just stood back and she said that I was just trying to give you something. She just said that. So what it teaches you that tolerance is very important, but you learn this qualities when you face the opposite circumstance, when you face all these situations, then you learn the tolerance. When you learn the tolerance in outside world, then you apply it in inside world, in your spiritual world, basically, in spiritual world, in your temple with your devotees. And so this is very important. And then again next quality you learn is patience. So patience is very important, that because when you're, sometimes it happens that, you have knocked about 50 doors. You're standing for 5 hours. Not even a single book has gone. And then it teaches you, it's fine. It's okay. I'm just an instrument. Maybe today is not the day that when anyone is in this place who is eligible to receive this knowledge. Have patience. Something will happen. If not has happened, maybe Lord doesn't want it to happen. But many times you find someone, who is really appreciating your knowledge. So it takes a knowledge. So even if you've given one book, even if you have not given any book, it's a matter of being the instrument in the hands of the Lord, not thinking that I'm going out and doing something on myself and I can do it. That I can do it attitude will not work and has never worked in book distribution, because book distribution is more about the mercy and the blessings than us, because it just doesn't work. It does not work at all until unless you have a strong desire to do this particular service. The results doesn't come. But as soon as the Lord sees your sincerity and your efforts, and also remember that the quantity, the number of books does not matter. Your efforts matters. The Lord is not looking, and Srila Prabhupada is not looking at your scorecard, that how many Srimad Bhagavatam and how many Bhagavad Gita you have distributed. They would notice that how many phone calls you have made, how many streets you have gone, how many doors you have knocked, how long you have stood on the street. Yeah. And it's not about that the one who is standing 10 hours and the one who is standing 1 hour, there is a difference. So Krishna sees that, how busy you are. Is your, if you're free all day sitting on sofa, just preferring to chant and not going out even for 1 hour, you know, Krishna knows us so well. If you're scared, if you don't feel comfortable with this service, just try in humble way, whatever you can do. It doesn't have to be on the streets. It doesn't have to be on the door to door. Just make a phone call. Just look at your phone list. If you find two people who you think that can take a phone, or if who can take the book, or if you know that someone knows, their friends knows, you just try and approach, do something, anything minimum. Lord is not looking for a big effort or big results or anything big. Anything humble with sincerity is appreciated. Basically, that's all what the Lord is looking for. Then I wanted to actually, yes, we have covered what we have. Humility is one of the quality which is also is taught in this service. And again, not many services teaches you these qualities, but book distribution is full of. If you go continuously for book distribution, you is the most humble, and you know your position, what you can do, what you can't do. When you're in front of the outsiders, strangers, then you know that how difficult it is, and you understand what Srila Prabhupada has done. He has world the whole world Krishna conscious. He's written so many books. He has opened so many temples. He has started the Food for Life, BBT, book distribution. Srila Prabhupada has said that he has stood up as BBT as a separate entity. So all these things, we understand what Srila Prabhupada could do and what we are not able to do. It brings us the humility in ourselves. So it's very important. So these are all these qualities, what we learn from book distribution. Now, the last and very important is also, like, everything was important, but this point is, how do we do this? How should we do it? prepare your mind, have a desire. When you have a desire, then that desire works. And it's in a spiritual world, desire is the most important thing, and it works in everywhere. So if you have a desire to distribute books, you will definitely, no one in the world can stop you distributing the books. You just have to have that desire. When you have a desire, take few books, small books, big books. It's mainly books which you have read, like you know about Bhagavad Gita. And usually when we go out, we distribute only BBT books. So you have Chant and Be Happy books, because it explains George Harrison, John Lennon, Conversation with Srila Prabhupada. You have Higher Test, which explain which has the list of recipes, vegan vegetarian recipes. You have Bhagavad Gita. Then you have Science of Self-Realization, and you have perfect questions, perfect answers, in a sense. So books like that, a smaller book, take some books in your hands. You should always have a charity tin where you can take some change. You should, if your temple allows, then you should have an ID card, which has your name and the charity number has been written and the center name. All these things are important because I'm not sure about US or any other, or India, where how it works. But in UK, you can't go round and down, on the doors, knocking on the doors without having an ID card. So you have to have your ID card, things like that. Then you have a charity and you have a bag. If many people nowadays don't carry the cash, so you should have a card machine somewhere you can take the donations. So things like that are important when you go for book distribution. Cover up yourself properly. Look smart. Don't look like you have been beaten up completely and you have no idea what you're doing. Have a smile on your face. Look fresh, and look enthusiastic. Enthusiasm is very important book distribution. Don't look dull that someone has given you 2 slabs to come out and do this service. If that is your feeling, then don't do it. It's not end of the world. Yeah. So yeah, keep a smile on your face. As I mentioned, that we are representing the whole of the spiritual world, so we should look nice. Dress yourself nice, not just tear up clothes you're just wearing going out in anything. Look at least reasonable person. So it's very important. Your appearance is also important when you go out. Now, how do we distribute the books? So there are so many different ways people distribute the books, and and it depends on the place to place how it works as well. That's as we can knock on the door. We can say that how I approach, how I start. I will just, because there are different ways, everyone approach differently. How I say that we are from the local charity. My name is Satyabhama or Anjali. Um, I've come from the local yoga and meditation center. We have many projects going on where we distribute books on yoga and meditation to the local area, to the community, to the hospital, prisons, and care homes. And we're just at your place trying to give out this knowledge. And is it okay if you have few seconds, few minutes? Can I show you a few books? And then you start explaining the books, whatever books you have, maybe just one small book. If you think that person is more in it, you ask the question, do you like reading, what type of books you read, things like that. You ask questions, and then you should, on basis on that, you take the big book out and you explain it to them, what books are about. So I'll explain you what Bhagavad Gita, we've just maybe 10-15 minutes we will go through that, about the books. But this is how you start. And many times there is some devotees, like we try to do, because we do food for life in our temple. And uh, and uh, sometimes it's important that like people in this country, in UK, people are very charitable, and they get more inclined to do the charity to to homeless people and things like that. So we can also say that in our projects, we also distribute hot food to the homeless. And you can say which location do you distribute the hot food, what do you do as part of that particular service as well. And that makes you full package, basically, what exactly you're doing. And many places people are inclined that in community there should be youth services. So if you're doing a children's sangha, if you have a youth group, you mention that as well in your front pitching speech. Basically, this is how you put yourself forward, that what as a charity you do, yoga and meditation center. So yeah, so you talk about these books, and then if they like the books, then many times what I introduce. So we have, like, for example, Bhagavad Gita. How do you show Bhagavad Gita to others? So we say that this is one of the most circulated book in the world. It's been read by Mahatma Gandhi, Albert Einstein, Nelson Mandela, Steve Jobs. Many big authorities have read this. Many authorities, many different universities have authorized this book. So if you front page of the Bhagavad Gita, it shows you that University of California and Paris, they all universities have authorized this book. As a comment has been received. You can show the testimony of Mahatma Gandhi at the back of the book. And then what you can say, that what does this book contain is this knowledge has been spoken millions of years back in the language called Sanskrit. This Sanskrit language is called the mother of all the languages, and uh, and this book teaches, this knowledge was first spoken in Sanskrit language. Now this, you open the book, you show one of the verses that look, this is the Sanskrit language which I don't understand, you might not understand as well, but recently this knowledge has been translated in English. You can show the Roman translation and the bold translation and the purport. This is how it's been explained, and then you can say that this book talks about what is the purpose of the human birth, why we have not come. Like I go more in detail, make to make it more exciting, saying that why we have not come as an ant or a dog or a cat or an elephant. Why we have come as a a human being. And what is the why does bad things happen to good people? Why do we face of action? What is the meaning of action and reaction? What is the meaning of reincarnation? Do we ever come back? Do we don't come back? What is the meaning of soul? So we open the picture of the soul and super soul, that when soul is transmitting from the body to body, you talk about that picture, that at what age you are in. Are you in 40s, you're 50s, or you're young, or you're old? You might be at this age. So this is how the journey of the soul happens. So this book talks about all this concept. So you don't go in too much detail, not don't like don't spend more than 2-3 minutes. Don't go on and on and on about the book, because it can put them off as well. Just give a short and sweet summary of the book. And once that is done, and then you hand it over. What you should do in this conversation, when the conversation is happening, you try and hand over the book, open the cover and hand over the book in the hands. Because as soon as the book has been touched by the person, what book will start doing? Book will start talking with the soul, super soul. And this is where the magic happens. Many times, people don't want to take it, but just books pulls them off, pulls the people. Yeah, you hand over the book to them, and then you talk about the donation. So in London, like, it's like £5. Some can give more, some can give less, you can depend, but make it under 5 digit, 3 digit, 2 digit, something. We can make a fun of it, make it a humor, basically laugh with them. So yeah, this is how we distribute books. You can Chant and Be Happy is very good book. You can show the pictures of George Harrison and John Lennon at the back, and you say that they had everything in their life: name, fame, money, woman, you name it, they had it, but they were missing something in their life. And then they met this Swami from India, and this book is the conversation between three of them: John Lennon, George Harrison, and Srila Prabhupada. So this is how you sell, Chant and Be Happy. And then higher test, because we promote vegetarianism, and we are a very compassionate society, and we are trying to bring this into the society, and this is why we're distributing higher test. Many times people have different questions, religions, but we should respect everything, and we should try and do whatever we can. Mostly times when Muslims or people are not inclined to take the scriptural books, then you give them a recipe book, because that is always helpful, because that is a karma free diet. That is still, you're giving a knowledge, you're giving a philosophy. High test is 50% knowledge and 50% recipes and 50% philosophy. So yeah, this is all I have, I think, and I think I've covered. And you can go in groups. You can go in groups of two. You can make separate group. You can take all your Bhakti Vriksha group one evening. You can take your children's Sangha group one evening. You can go all the Matajis or Prabhus. You can create a little competition. If you don't have a big society or community, you can just staying alone, then you can just try and do it alone with one of the devotees. Doing not alone is not preferable. It's always safe to go with someone. So yeah, that's it. I think this is all. Please try, and I hope it was some of use, but please try. And this is nothing from me, this is all the previous acharyas and Srila Prabhupada, what he has instructed, and we're trying to pass on the knowledge, and we're trying to do this humble service at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Sorry. Any questions, comments, realization? I've got few comments. Okay, no comments. Sorry. Yes, Balaji Prabhu, please go ahead. You're on mute, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Sorry, I'll increase my voice.
Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Sri Prabhupada. All glories to assembled devotees, Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much, Mataji, for the wonderful lecture. Very, very inspiring. Recently, I've started going for the book distribution. So I was always thinking about how I can get inspired by your words. By Krishna's mercy, I think, this class has been arranged. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Satyabhama Mataji, we are not able to hear you. Suddenly your voice went down.
Hare Krishna, can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. Yes, I was just saying that if any one of you have gone out to book distribution, please, it would be nice to hear your experiences. Rishabh Prabhu, I know you go a lot out on the streets. You're always there, so it would be nice to hear from you.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna, Jai Jai Rishabh Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances.
Krishna, dear devotees, I'm just listening to the nectar and trying to learn something, It's like interesting just how much, we can speak all these details and of course, some kind of a skill, it's a skill, it's an attitude, and it's a mercy. And skill, it's kind of a here just that we don't speculate what you're doing, if you come to someone and you have like one way of approaching people and you see that it worked before, so and now it doesn't work anymore, and you start to speculate, and then most of your energy just went to speculation than actually approaching people and depending on Krishna. So yeah, tactic isn't it? It's important just to kind of be prepared for anything so that Krishna can use you. Then the attitude, as you said, Mataji. Yeah, this is like where your attitude is just naked there. It's naked. It has to be there. It has to be put in the place. And one thing, that attitude is really the hardest to learn. It's like we can learn to put tilak, put dhoti, learn all the shastras, but the attitude of surrender, have to go somewhere where they're gonna beat you up until you actually surrender. I mean, at least for Balkan people like us, it's necessary. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm speaking nonsense or.
No, you're not at all. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you for sharing the nectar. So important, the attitude, yes. Anyone else? Yes, Trupti Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, my obeisances to Srila Prabhupada, my humble obeisances to all Vaishnavas. Just a quick realization about, yesterday was my first ever on the street book distribution with Damodar Prabhu and Rihad Prabhu, the other two devotees. And I never thought that I could do this, even though I'm not a shy person, but because of very limited knowledge on Shastras and everything. Obviously, I read Bhagavad Gita and know Bhagavatam, and I know basics, and I listen to all the lessons, classes from Chandramoli Maharaj, and I have basic, but obviously what I was expecting from myself, I did quite good, and I think it's all to do with Srila Prabhupada's mercy that he encouraged me, and even though it was freezing cold, and then I thought, I can do it. He was there in New York. He didn't have proper shoes on. He didn't have proper clothes on. and in the snow, and how he did it. And we are, we are fully clothed. We have lots of warm clothes and all that. Okay, it was cold. We couldn't take it, but a little bit. But I thought if he could do it, at least we should do it, because his sacrifice must not go to waste, and we should continue. And if we don't continue, our next generation will lose it. And that is more important for anything, that one generation should carry the flag and pass it on to next generation. So then it continues, that way continues. So yes, my mixed experience yesterday, there were quite a few people that they were
You've gone on mute, Mataji.
Yes, my experience was mixed yesterday as well. There's quite a lot of people that we met. They knew so much about Bhagavatam, knew about Ramayana, Mahabharata, and they purchased books as well for kids and things. And they were a Polish lady, and the amount of things that she knew, and she bought a book on yoga to gifts to somebody and all that. And that amazed me as well, that we were the location we were there, we were especially targeting a lot of people from my community, and I speak Gujarati, so we were hoping, and we had good response there. But other than that, from other nationality as well, lots of people were interested, and lots of people not interested so much as well. And then we just thanked for the time, and we just said that have a great day, and keep smiling, and continue doing that. So yes, my experience was mostly positive, and I think I'm so happy, and I wish I could do this every day, all day.
Jai.
And yeah,
Nice.
so that
Thank you
is all
so
I
much,
wanted to
Mataji.
say. And thank you for all the mentoring and advices, and from Keshava Swami other day, and all of you that we following your footstep, and we making a path for our next generation to hold the flag and just move on. So that's
Jai.
all I wanted to
Jai.
say. So Hari Bol.
Thank you so
Hare
much, Shakti
Krishna.
Mataji. Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Shakti Mataji first time went out yesterday. She's from South London, from our temple, and she also distributed lots of books yesterday, lots of Bhagavad Gita and Krishna book and kids books, so many books. So Jai, all grace to your service, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Satyabhama Mataji.
Yes.
Accept my humble obeisances, all goes to Shri Prabhupada. Thank you so much. Such a wonderful class, and nice points you mentioned, Mataji. I'm very grateful that you gave this class. So you shared your knowledge, and especially how you got from the verses, how Srila Prabhupada is emphasizing about books, and also the report which you have shown. Can you share the link of that website?
Yes. Sure.
It was so amazing that in previous times also they used to do book distribution. I never knew this. I think I heard once, but I don't remember exactly. But yeah, it's very nice, Mataji, you shared. And yeah, definitely, that's what I was thinking. Since so long, I'm also thinking to do book distribution, but I never tried. I once went with one Mataji when 4-5 years ago, before COVID. But it was a nice experience, yeah, meeting new people, and we went door to door. It was a new experience for me, and but I was so excited to go, and we just gave 2 or 3 Bhagavad Gitas, that's all, and it made me so much happy. That service little bit, and we got some donations, and yeah, it was very nice. So I want to repeat that, but somehow I'm doing other services, but not a book distribution. So I think with your encouragement and inspiration words, think I'll also take this step. Balaji Prabhu is already doing. I think we all should make a team and go together.
Make a team. That will help a
Yeah.
lot. Like making a team will encourage.
Alone going is little
Alone
tricky,
doesn't
and
work. Yeah.
and
You have to
also we should
team.
have someone, like, suppose if we are short of words, then somebody can easily jump
Easily pitch
in.
in. Yeah.
Yeah. That's true. And also having a little idea about the books is also good, right? So we should know like what exactly the book is speaking about,
Yeah.
and what Srila Prabhupada is trying to say. So Mataji, when you are saying that, when you approach that, you are not saying directly that we are a ISKCON, right? You are just saying
No,
that.
directly not ISKCON. If someone specifically asks the name of the charity, then you say ISKCON. But if what does it mean, then you clarify that. And usually you say Hare Krishnas, because people know Hare Krishnas. Like in Britain, definitely in London, people know Hare Krishnas are, because
here also same.
brahmacharis, dance on the main streets at central London, so people know who Hare Krishnas are. So They know Hare Krishnas, but I think we keep that little bit at the back. We don't show ourselves as a spiritual or religious organization, because we are not a religious organization. These books are for humanities, for everyone. So we shouldn't be showing it in that way. Yeah.
So I saw that most of the time Prabhujis only go for book distribution. Matajis don't go much. So always they are in different other services like cooking and managing and kids, Sunday schools, all that. So I want to, but I want to go. I spoke over phone and I got some Bhagavad Gita sets previously, but I never went out on the streets and did. Um, so I think I have to try that.
Yeah, give it a try. It's always very nice, actually. It's
Mm.
as I mentioned that, you learn so many qualities.
Mm.
And this doesn't come by doing any other service like cooking, cleaning, because, we are in the temple, we are in our own
Yeah.
box. We're just
Yes.
doing that service, and no one in our devotees, everyone is nice, everyone is doing everything, and we don't know how to surrender, what to surrender, because, everything
Yeah.
is settled in our life. We are
Exactly.
not in the
Yeah.
situation that we
Yeah,
need to
we
learn.
are in a comfort zone.
Comfort zone, yes.
Yeah.
When you come out of the comfort zone, then only you learn surrender.
That's true. That's true. And even if someone doesn't agree with your points, or even so, we should not take it for ourselves, right? Yeah, like we should not feel bad that this I didn't give
Um,
any book. Suppose one day we'll get success, or one day we'll not get anything.
Yeah.
And so,
Even if, like, what we usually say that, if someone is not interested in book, we just ask them that, do you want to make any donation? Like, I always ask them to
mm,
make a donation, because what
mm,
it will do, that donation will be helpful in distributing books to someone else. So
yes.
in that way, he's not giving us just the Lakshmi, he's starting his journey, because
Mm,
he's giving a book to someone else. So that is the biggest service he's doing. Yeah, so we always say that we do this, like Food for Life. I give the example,
mm,
because people are very charitable. Why
mm,
paracetamol is sweet? Why is
mm,
not bitter? Because children has to be given a sweet stuff.
mm,
Sometime, because I remember at one time what happened, that one team, a group of the devotees in front of Srila Prabhupada, they came with books to core, and one of the team was selling the books with the incense stick, and they were selling the incense stick, and then side by side they were distributing books, and the other group were just selling the book, no incense stick, no other stuff was sold. But the people who were selling with incense stick, their score was much, much higher than the other group.
mm,
And they asked that, is it right to do it or not? And Srila Prabhupada, yeah, as long as the books are going, you can do, like, you can say whatever. So if you have Food for Life in your temple,
mm,
like, we,
yeah.
we prefer, actually, because this helps. All these things helps, yeah. Just
Mm.
raise funds and then distribute books to others who doesn't have the luck.
Sometimes we hesitate to ask donation. So at the time, what should we ask or not? Suppose if any friend or any in our community, I give some Bhagavad Gitas, as this is the book marathon or Gita Jayanti month. So I hesitate to ask donation sometimes. Is it okay to ask? Will they
No,
feel
definitely,
offended? Or,
Mataji, is definitely, because what I say, like, many people, like, we go out many times, we find people, they say that we already have Bhagavad Gita. So
mm,
what do we say, that you take a Bhagavad Gita, because I have only two hands. I explain, like, little bit, bring a humor to the life.
mm,
I have only two hands. I can distribute to you only, but you can distribute to two more, and you can distribute to two more. They can distribute two more. So what
mm,
we need to do, and we need to realize that why Srila Prabhupada insisted this book distribution to happen in Gita Jayanti month. What do
mm,
you say? The Shastra Dan is the topmost Dan.
yeah.
And giving this book in this month in a charity is very, very auspicious. Is more than giving thousands of cows in the charity, visiting all the pilgrimages and taking bath in all the holy rivers.
Mm,
This giving the donation of books, Bhagavad Gita in this month is very auspicious. And it
mm,
will bring all auspiciousness in your life.
mm,
Then people will become inclined to donate and even take the book, or either donate and you distribute on their behalf, or they take the book somehow or other.
mm,
Ask them to distribute 2 books, 10 books, 5 books, something, at least, tell them, we need more hands to distribute this. You help us.
yeah.
Yeah. This
Nice,
is how
Mataji.
I try and but the Nath Prabhu is expert in
Mm,
raising funds. Like, for our temple, he sends about 500, 600 messages,
mm,
and then follow up, and then call all of them. So whole
mm,
month he's like, he's very good. He's doing very good in sponsorships as well.
yeah. We'll also catch hold of him and talk about his
Yes, yes.
experiences.
Yeah, please. Nice.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Balaji Prabhu.
Balaji Prabhu, you have a
Yeah, Mataji. Sorry, I couldn't talk earlier properly. So I have a question like when you go for door-to-door distribution of the books, how do you guys carry so many books, Mataji? Just out of curiosity.
In your country, how does the Mexicans carry the fruit salads? I've got those big trolleys with the 4 wheels.
Okay.
So we carry the books, or either we like previously, very before when I started earlier, I used to carry my laptop bag. But then the books are so much in the quantity that you can't. So then I carry the that wheel, a trolley on the wheels, big wheels.
Oh, okay. Nice to
I
hear.
bought that actually last year only from US. I learned seeing from Mexicans when I went to US last year. So that's a very good way, yeah.
Yeah, very nice. And also, I heard people when they do this book distribution, there are different ways, like you have mentioned. Some of them, cook some prasadam like cookies or something like that. And
Yes, you can
they
take the
take,
shad.
and, that's how they get
Yes,
attracted.
yeah.
And
That's good,
one bit.
yeah.
Um, like you mentioned so many times, I also felt that, when something, nothing is going, it's my inability to, do, but, without the mercy of spiritual master or Srila Prabhupada, we cannot do anything.
Yeah.
Uh, but it's a nice way to do that.
Yeah.
But so many times I also felt that if we have some enough knowledge about the books previously, then it would help to explain all the people properly. But very nice points you have given, Mataji. So most of the people, the moment you try to give a book, they say, yeah, we have all these books at home, we are not reading, things like that. But the points which you mentioned are really helpful for us to do the book distribution. Yeah, just wanted to convey that. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much, Prabhu. Thank you. Sakshi Mataji, you have a question? Comment? Maybe not question.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for the nice points. Like Mataji, I'm from India, so there are many religions in India, like Jain, Sikh, and so many religions in India. So when we try to approach people, some of them are Jains or from other caste. So, and they say that this knowledge is not meant for us because we have our own scriptures. So, how do we introduce this knowledge to them? Because we are actually not religious movement. We are not the followers of religion. But I mean, you got my point. How do we
Yes,
introduce?
yes. No, true, very true. So in this actually, other day I was, I'm not sure if you remember or you were there. I was asking the same question to Guru Maharaj as well, and that how do we do it? Like how do we spread this knowledge to the other communities? But but we have to understand that it's very difficult to change someone's view. If someone is fixed, like for example, if Muslim is fixed, Islam people are, they're so much fixed up in their teachings that it's not nice to change them, first of all. So we should leave them as it is, like here as well, because Guru Maharaj was also saying the same thing, that the love of God is being taught by all the religions. And if someone is following that properly, and if they are fixed up in in the process, and they're doing it properly, then they are like a true Christian, like, Krishna devotees as well. So there is no, we are not the converters. That's what Guru Maharaj was saying, that we don't want to convert people. We don't want to make a Christian to a him, a Krishna conscious devotee. Because if their teachings are follow, like we all have a different ways, and we are fixed up in some are going direct way, some are going direct way, but it's very difficult to change someone's mindset. And even Lord can't do it. Lord can't force his love to anyone. So we have to remember that, and we should respect everyone. We shouldn't try and force. And here as well, like if any Muslim or anyone comes like that, so we don't force, we'll just ask for a donation if they can give any donation to a charity, because we're trying to do the good work. And if they can help us in this way, apart from that, we don't try and convert someone by giving our knowledge. But if someone is atheistic, they don't know what they're doing, they don't follow it. And when you will talk to them, you will know what they're doing. If someone is fixed up, you would know them. And if they're not fixed up, they don't know what they're doing. Even if Sikh or Jain or any religious group, then you will know, and then you can try and explain it to them what is explained in Bhagavad Gita. So that's how you can connect. But yeah, Guru Maharaj was clearly saying that we are not the converters, and we shouldn't try and do that as well. Like, yeah, it doesn't help. I hope it, I'm so sorry, but I'll find the class. Maybe if Guru Maharaj has given very nicely, is highlighted this point very nicely.
Sure, Mataji. Thank you so much. Very helpful. Very much.
Thank you, Sakshi. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, I think we can now close the session. Is that okay, Shrimati Mataji? I think there are no questions, comments. Perfect.
Can I ask one more thing? Last thing?
Yes, Rishabh Prabhu, please go ahead.
I was just kind of I just was listening to one lecture from Radhashyam Prabhu from Pune, and I think it applies for every aspects of our service, even book distribution, seva in the temple, or even chanting and hearing Bhagavatam. It's all the same principle, though. And yeah, we have, like as you said, different religious groups, different people with different faiths. In Bhagavad Gita, it is mentioned that based on the work and activities you do, which can be in the goodness, passion, and ignorance, this kind of faith you develop.
Yeah.
And even if people are in goodness, we see that they are not taking Krishna consciousness, because they can have faith in mystic yoga and they can have in healing. Yesterday I was in one mystic. It was a fair of good health and mysticism, and there are a bunch of people that like just feel good, and it's like mode of goodness, you know. They're still not taking up Krishna consciousness. So what is spreading Krishna consciousness? You were mentioning this, how bhakti spread. You were mentioning it's not even their piety. You know, we ask for charity, right? We ask for for charity, and it should start their Krishna consciousness. Spiritual life for sure, but is it Krishna consciousness? Will they take up Krishna consciousness? It actually depends on one thing, and it's, will Krishna really manifest in our hearts, us and them? Will Krishna develop in our hearts when we are washing pots? Will Krishna develop in our hearts when we are reading Bhagavatam, we are listening to Bhagavatam, or interacting with other devotees, or preaching the message? You were mentioning how, you know, the one who is preaching this message, but one who is preaching this message understands he cannot preach this message whatsoever. And that it's like, I cannot do anything. I cannot purify the Krishna. It's like, you know, I cannot do anything. It's like Guru, you, Prabhupada, and you know, Gurudev, Prabhupada, and Krishna. If you're the only one who can do anything to purify their hearts. And as you said, like, we have to be in the mode of goodness, like, which makes us, Sankirtan makes us, you know, when you ask, like, you know, what purification you get from Sankirtan, he makes you be in goodness. It's like, you'll not be able to do Sankirtan for many years if you're not in the mode of goodness. Like, no way. In the ignorance, you will be like just totally traumatized. And I know many people, they went out for Sankirtan, they're just walking around, and their mind is just totally destroying them. And they're not doing anything. They're just walking around and thinking how this is terrible and how they don't like it. And then for 3 days, they're just sleeping in the ashram. It's kind of a, wow. It's like your mind almost killed you, you know. And in the passion, you're just, you know, using your karma to actually kind of, and giving the results of karma to Krishna. So it's kind of a one way of offering of Krishna. But yeah, it makes us, the Sankirtan really makes us to be in the mode of goodness, being aware and really actually poking Krishna, please manifest in this conversation. Because this is the purifying agent, Krishna, not even us repeating the sentences of the acharyas if we do not have the mood of dependence. So yeah, think about it. Then if you manage to get this essence, this feeling of Krishna's presence in your japa, in your sadhana, in your service, then the Sankirtan it will also manifest. So
Right.
yeah,
Nice,
just like
very nice.
one thing.
Thanks so much for bringing it up. Rafti Mataji? You're on mute, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Sorry, I forgot to mention, but there was one question yesterday. There was one person who we stopped with his son, and he was from Nepal, and obviously he took one book, but he wanted a whole set of Bhagavatam in Nepali language, and we had a discussion, and obviously he is interested, so we will be delivering to him and all that. We convince him, but before that, he said that, oh, but it's too expensive. So for that, I just want clarification. I said that already, but I'm not sure what did I do right thing. And I said to him, I said, look, I know it's a lot of money for this instance. It was £175. So I said to him, I said, look, if you think about it, if you save £5 every week, you will have £175 very soon. But this investment, you have it for your generation to come. So I said, we go out for a restaurant, or we buy new clothes, and we spend hundreds of pounds in lots of things, and we just that is where it's all material things, and that has a off the shelf life, and one day it will break, or it will this whatever will happen to it. But I said, these books, I said, I have books in my house, and I have GTs in my house that they've been for more than 60-70 years, passed on from generations. So I said, and he said he's very important that his son is, I think, 6 years old, that he know Bhagavatam in his language, in Nepali language, because he's been in UK for a long time. So did I do right that I convince him like that this
no, this is fine, like absolutely. And you can also say that, that the Lakshmi, your money you spend on this is purifies the rest of the, it purifies you purifies your Lakshmi by giving it in Lord's service. Yeah.
Yes,
You purify
yes.
your body by using your body in your Lord's service. You purify your mind by chanting Lord's name. So this is how you can purify. So that's absolutely fine, Mataji. You give it nice answer.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so I think we are end of it now. We'll close it, and thank you so much, devotee, for tolerating me, and it was really nice to glorify Srila Prabhupada's books with all of you. Thank you so much, and please continue the service and spread the words. It's very important for Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the wonderful class. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Amazing. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.